Thanks for clicking on to the Saturday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. Some very impressive cold over the eastern portion of Europe in recent mornings, but we are starting to see the cold ease, and of course that is good news for the folks in Ukraine. Very brutal conditions, midwinter conditions, and temperatures dropped as low as minus 8.6 at Kiev, with 2 centimeters of snow on the ground. Temperatures as low as minus 22 in Turkey, minus 16 in the mountains of northern Greece, and we have even seen temperatures into the minus 20s in places such as Serbia. Here is a tweet here showing from Milos Milik, I think that's the right pronunciation, hopefully. I do apologise if it isn't. But he tweeted there 9 hours ago about an exceptionally cold morning down in Serbia, where most of the lowlands don't have snow-covered ground, but we've seen temperatures as low as minus 21 Celsius in some of the mountains of Serbia in recent days, even as low as minus 5.4 in the centre of Belgrade, and even official automated station recorded a temperature of minus 27.8 Celsius. So very, very impressive temperatures indeed down into the heart of the Balkan Peninsula. But you can see here, these are the current temperatures. Very, very mild across Western Europe, particularly so focused over the Low Countries and into Germany, where we've got mid-teens currently. The UK as well, we've got relatively mild conditions across the board, and even up into Scandinavia, temperatures are largely above freezing actually, and even into eastern portions of Europe now we're seeing the temperature coming up, which is good, above freezing, and we're going to see that continuing over the next few days as milder air starts to progress from west to east. However, that is a short-lived mild push as well, because we are going to see the return of cold, unfortunately, during next week. Maybe not quite as severe, but certainly it will turn cold again. Area of low pressure to the southwest of Ireland, that is bringing up squally, heavy, gusty showers, and winds may top 70 miles an hour on the southwestern portion of the UK as over the next 24 hours or so here. But you can see here that we don't have that area of high pressure now driving cold air in from the east-northeast. So therefore the temperature is now starting to come up here. But we will see the cold coming back in. So as we play through the loop here off the GFS chart, that area of low pressure kind of spins up the western side of the British Isles here. And it doesn't look just quite as problematic as it did a few days ago, but it will still bring wind and severe gales to the coastal areas of Wales and England, as well as the Republic of Ireland as well. As we go through the course of the early portion of next week, we've got the return of high pressure over the northwestern portion of Russia. We've got a frontal system moving into the British Isles here from the west, as you can see, but it looks as if it actually fades quite significantly as it tries to push eastwards because of strengthening high pressure over the continent. And it's that area of high pressure that becomes the dominant player as we go through next week here. As the pressure rises, we start to see the winds coming back in from the east, and colder returns to the picture once again. Now it's interesting as we continue to play through the loop, you can actually see where the high becomes anchored over southern Finland. Large area of high pressure that encompasses the entire northern and central portion of Europe. If you notice here, areas of low pressure to the south. So yep, we are starting to see the return of that potential easterly flow, and with colder air coming back into play, that always has the potential to go westwards with high pressure establishing and encompassing most of Europe, as you can see here. So as I play through the loop, you can see here that we start to see the undercutting winds here moving through, and it really becomes a very, very strong area of high pressure, if you notice here, towards the end of the month here. So we'll keep our eyes on that here. One model run, we are going to see alterations. That being said, we do have the ECMWF showing the same thing as well. So if I go to the ECMWF, you can see what I'm talking about. It has a very similar look. If you notice here, Tuesday, 22nd of March, we've got high pressure, two centers, but look at that, 1051 millibars, 1043 millibars, and we've got easterly winds coming in, and essentially that high is shutting down the Atlantic here. So we'll watch the trend as we go forward, but it does look very interesting indeed. If you notice here on the 850 millibar chart, you can see that we've got cold air. The core of cold, in fact, actually positioned over the near continent and fringing into the British Isles here. We'll watch and see what happens anyway as we go forward. But certainly the month of March is looking like this here. Generally, a cold Central and Southern Europe. We've got average conditions now starting to show up over the UK here. Warmer than average South Coast, Southeast. Colder than average across Ireland, if you notice. Warmer than average across Scandinavia. That's going to persist, I think. And we've got some very colder across the Balkan region in particular here. So interesting times to come, actually. We do have the return of a tease at the very least of easterly winds coming back into play. Yeah, I get the fact that we're approaching the middle and second half of March, the sun angle getting much stronger. We're not going to have sub-freezing days, but we may start to get colder. We also may have some very cold nights as well. Can we exceed the minus 10.2 that we've seen so far this winter in terms of the coldest UK temperature? Could we potentially exceed that towards the end of March? That is very much on the table if the charts are correct in what they're showing. Keep it right here on YouTube, and thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And do, of course, hit the bell for the latest notifications as well. Bye for now.